Welcome to today's video on the remote work mortgage trap. In this episode, we'll uncover why lenders often demand explicit confirmation that you're permanently authorized to work remotely when you buy a home far from your corporate office, and how that simple requirement can stall your closing. We'll identify the bureaucratic blockers, the most effective workarounds, and exactly how to advocate for yourself. We'll also share email language, diagrams of the process, and quick quizzes to test your understanding. By the end, you'll know how to keep your loan on track and close on time. First, let's clarify why this matters. If you're buying a home significantly far from your company's office, mortgage underwriters want explicit confirmation that your remote work is permanent or authorized. This is how they gauge job stability after you move. However, HR teams, especially those relying on third-party employment verification, often refuse to confirm remote arrangements due to policy. As a result, your closing can stall. Our goal is to help you stay proactive, gather acceptable documentation, and navigate underwriting to keep your deal alive. Before we dive deeper, here's a quick disclaimer. This video is for educational purposes only and is not legal, financial, or HR advice. Policies vary by lender and employer, and individual situations can differ. Always consult your loan officer, underwriter, and your employer's HR team for guidance specific to your case. Use this as a framework to ask precise questions and request the right documentation. Next, here's our agenda. We'll start with the bureaucratic blockade and why simple confirmation requests can stall your closing. Then we'll examine the controversial insight that sometimes the issue is an overly cautious or inexperienced underwriter. After that, we'll walk through 4 actionable solutions, compare local versus distant moves, and provide a practical email template. We'll finish with pro tips, a stakeholder map, and quick quizzes to reinforce the essentials. With the roadmap set, let's define the blockade. Many HR departments will confirm that you are employed, but they won't confirm that you are authorized to work remotely. Older offer letters are often rejected as outdated. Third-party verification services typically provide only standardized information, blocking the custom language underwriters want. Meanwhile, the underwriter is looking for a plain statement that your remote work is authorized and your employment remains stable after the move. These gaps cause delays that can jeopardize your rate lock, your purchase contract, and your closing timeline. Building on that, this flowchart visualizes your path. You start by asking your loan officer for the exact underwriting wording so you know precisely what is required. Then you request a supervisor email that explicitly confirms remote authorization. If your supervisor cannot provide it, you escalate to HR management. If HR still cannot issue a letter with the required language, your loan officer should request an underwriting exception. If the exception is granted, you move forward. If not, you present alternative proof, such as your driver's license, pay stubs, or W-2 showing your current address, and confirm whether you're within a 1-hour commute. If that satisfies the underwriter, the condition clears. Otherwise, you escalate to the underwriter's manager and refine documentation until approval. Now here's the controversial insight. Not every roadblock is purely policy. Sometimes an inexperienced or overly cautious underwriter is reluctant to accept reasonable documentation. Experienced underwriters can apply judgment when documentation is logically equivalent to a formal letter. This is where your loan officer's advocacy matters. They should frame the documentation, cite guidelines where appropriate, and escalate to obtain an underwriting exception when standard documentation is blocked by corporate policy. To put this into action, follow 4 proven paths. First, use the supervisor shortcut by requesting a direct email to the underwriter confirming you are authorized to work full-time from the new location and that your employment is secure. Letters on company letterhead that confirm a remote assignment at the division level can be especially effective. Second, if that fails, have your loan officer escalate and request an underwriting exception, which is a common way to navigate big company HR limits. Third, if your move is local, within about an hour, submit documentation that your current address matches your official records, such as your driver's license, pay stubs, and W-2s. This can satisfy the requirement by showing you already work remotely or within commuting distance. Fourth, if your immediate manager is constrained by policy, escalate to HR management and explain the critical urgency and the exact wording needed. Simultaneously, this sequence diagram shows the communication flow. You first request exact wording from your loan officer. With that in hand, You email your supervisor requesting a confirmation that mirrors the required language. The supervisor sends the authorization directly to the underwriter, copying the loan officer. The underwriter reviews it. If satisfied, the condition clears. If not, your loan officer requests an underwriting exception from the underwriter's manager, explaining that HR policy prevents the exact documentation. When the manager approves, the underwriter clears the condition and you proceed. Meanwhile, here's a quick table of documents that can help. Your driver's license is a straightforward way to show your current address, though it should align with payroll records. Recent pay stubs confirm both your address and active employment, but they must be current and clearly display the address. W-2s provide historical proof of address and employer, but may be outdated by themselves. A letter on company letterhead explicitly confirming remote authorization carries strong weight, but can be difficult to obtain. A supervisor email tailored with the lender's exact wording can be fast and effective if properly routed. Additionally, consider how distance changes the strategy. For a local move within roughly 1 hour, documentation such as your driver's license, pay stubs, or W-2 showing your current address may satisfy the commuting expectation and demonstrate stability without requiring special HR confirmation. In contrast, when moving far from headquarters, underwriters are more likely to insist on explicit remote authorization. Since HR or third-party systems may block custom letters, you should plan proactively for escalation to HR management or for an underwriting exception. The earlier you prepare, the fewer surprises at closing. Now, quick quiz time. The question is, what is usually the fastest way to secure acceptable confirmation for the underwriter? Option A. Request a generic HR verification through a third-party portal. Option B. Have your supervisor send a direct email confirming authorized remote work and job stability. Option C. Wait for an updated offer letter to be reissued. Option D. Provide only tax transcripts from last year. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. Right away, the correct answer is to have your supervisor send a direct email confirming authorized remote work and job stability. This approach provides targeted language that underwriters want and typically avoids delays caused by standardized third-party HR verifications. Moving on, here's the next question. If an underwriter refuses common-sense documentation due to HR policy limits, what should your loan officer do next? Option A. Lower your loan amount. Option B. Request an underwriting exception and escalate to the underwriter's manager. Option C. Switch employers. Option D. Cancel the contract and reapply later. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. As a result, the correct answer is to request an underwriting exception and escalate to the underwriter's manager. Exceptions are designed to handle documentation barriers that arise from large company HR policies and can allow reasonable alternatives to be accepted. Before we wrap, here are essential pro tips. Ask your lender for the exact wording they need, then mirror that language in your request to your supervisor or HR. Route confirmation emails directly to the underwriter and copy your loan officer. Include a sentence about employment stability in every confirmation. Gather backup proofs in advance, such as your driver's license, pay stubs, W-2s, and even lease or utility bills if useful. If HR blocks custom letters, escalate early. Finally, document your timeline and communication to protect your rate lock and contract deadlines. To visualize stakeholders, this mind map places mortgage remote confirmation at the center and branches to each key actor. You, the borrower, gather proofs, request exact wording, and track timelines. The loan officer advocates for you, escalates when needed, and requests exceptions. The underwriter reviews documents, applies judgment, and clears conditions. The underwriter's manager approves exceptions and provides guidance. Your supervisor authorizes remote work and can email confirmation. HR management operates within policy constraints but may issue a letter when possible. Third-party verifiers usually provide standard data only and no custom statements. Seeing these roles together clarifies who to contact and when. As a practical resource, here is a copy-paste email template. Replace the bracketed fields and send it to your supervisor, addressing the underwriter and copying your loan officer. Request 2 key statements: authorization to work full-time from the new location, and confirmation that your employment remains secure after the relocation. If company letterhead is possible, mention that it helps. If policy limits exist, Ask the supervisor to confirm what they can. Always ask your lender for the exact wording and paste it into the request so the confirmation precisely matches the underwriter's requirement. Finally, here are your next steps. Get the exact wording from your lender first. Use the supervisor shortcut to deliver explicit confirmation of remote authorization and employment stability. If blocked, escalate to HR management and request an underwriting exception through your loan officer. For local moves, consider address matching documentation to satisfy commuting logic. Throughout the process, document communications and timelines to protect your rate lock and your closing schedule. To close, thank you for watching. If this helped you navigate the remote work mortgage confirmation, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more practical homeowner strategies. Comment below with your situation, what worked, and any questions you want covered next.